Madam Bhaskar, Honorable Principal, Dr. Kamran, our school head boy, Dr. Jagdish Gandhi ji, distinguished professors, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished visitors from wonderful nations, my dear students. After what Dr. Kamran has said, there is very little for me to speak about. But I would like, as your father or as an elder in the family, that I would not like you to repeat the mistakes which I made. Coming to CMS is akin to a pilgrimage. You see the enthusiasm, the energy, the positive vibrations in this auditorium have not come fortuitously. They are here because of the wonderful presence of this great human being, that is Dr. Jagdish Gandhi. A big hand for him. My dear students, as Madam Anita writes wonderful books, you have to have a child inside you to write for children. Unless the child is alive in your heart, you will not gel, you will not vibe, you will not be able to contribute to children. Somewhere, the inquiring mind dies when I'm at the age of 16, and then I'm an adult. I don't see, I don't vibe, I don't relate to you. This International Convention of Quality Control is a blessing. In my time, ladies and gentlemen, 50 years ago when I was in school, schooling had 3 ingredients, the world over. And I went through that schooling: caning, cold bath, and bad food. These were the 3 ingredients to bring out the steel in you. Whether the steel came out or not, but yes, blood did come out once in a while. But that was the scheme of things 50 years ago. Things have changed. Now we have moved from the grit and sober education to education with a purpose, with a new dimension, with compassion. So here the quality, everything comes with compassion, with understanding. Today, next slide please. Where is it? Here. Which is the remote? Okay. What worked yesterday will not work today. What worked yesterday will not work today. When I was in school, I got 65% marks and my father distributed sweets to the entire village. Today, 65% doesn't take you very far. And those getting 65% would perhaps go into a fit of depression as to what to do with themselves. So mediocrity today is the sin, because what worked yesterday will not work today. Knowledge, in knowledge-driven world, is instant global advantage. And pain, sacrifice, and effort would decide where you and I will be after some time, and our future would be decided by these 3 ingredients. I would also show you the clips of these 3: Napoleon, the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, Abraham Lincoln. What is common amongst all these 3? Focus, dedication, and hard work. Genius is 99% perspiration and 1% inspiration. There is no substitute to success except hard work. Napoleon would get up, although the emperor, at 3 a.m. every day. The father of the nation would also get up at 4 a.m. And Abraham Lincoln would also get up at 4 a.m. Let us at least inherit one small personal habit of getting up early in the morning and do good to ourselves. All the high achievers I know are those who get up early in the morning. It is structured in some religions, sir, to get up early in the morning and offer your morning prayers. It is structured in some religions to get up, and that is what makes a difference, that you start as a winner rather than to start as a loser. Be so good that there is no competition, and this goodness should not be reflected in your workplace only. They say that he is a good teacher in school, but a bad husband, a bad father. Sorry. A bad husband will be a bad teacher, a bad human being, a bad friend, and a lousy person wherever he is. And a good person will be a good teacher, a good husband, a good father, and whatever he touches will become gold. And a bad person, badness also has a habit of spreading rather fast. You be an oasis of excellence wherever you are. There are no mistakes. All of us make mistakes. Only dead people do not make mistakes. And those of you have seen McEnroe, those of you seen Tendulkar would say that every time they are checking themselves, examining themselves, they are in autopilot mode of improving themselves. To the extent that somebody asked McEnroe before the Wimbledon final, what is your statement before the final tournament? McEnroe said, now I won't speak, my racket will speak. That is the confidence. For every second that you are on the court, you spend 10 hours of practice. There's a system of 10,000 hours. If you want to become a scientist, if you want to become a musician, if you want to become a doctor, invest 10,000 hours in your life, and that translates to almost 4 hours a day for 5 years. You get those 10,000 hours. I will talk of distractions. What distractions? This generation, which my generation was fortunate by God is very kind. If I got caning, cold bath and bad food, I did not have distractions which this generation has. This generation, unfortunately, has time starvation and information overload. What you get to see, you are bombarded with 63,000 words a day. 63,000 words a day. A major distraction every 11 minutes. You have to watch your smartphone 115 times a day. Seeing nothing, gaping nothing, but watching the smartphone as if something will emerge. Some fairy will emerge from your smartphone. I did not have this disadvantage or this infirmity. We will talk about that later. The paradox of praise, this is for principals, teachers. I remember the chocolates and the birthday songs I got, but I also remember and more intensely the walloping that I got. Every time I scold my child, all my students are my children, God be my witness, I inflict a permanent injury on his personality and his ego. Let us not repeat the same mistakes over and over again. A permanent scar. Those of you who have been into medical surgeries would know that when you are under anesthesia, the deepest and the most closely guarded secrets come out. People would go into the background when they were in class 1 or class 2 and remember the obnoxious behavior that a not so kind teacher inflicted, not so kind a parent or a friend inflicted upon the child. That is a permanent injury to the ego and the personality and a crippling. Please imagine that every child has a board on him, praise me. And a praise can do wonders. You can do it. You are able to do it. You are indeed capable of doing it, and see what difference it makes. The paradox of praise is exactly like Dr. Anita would be the best person to understand it, and I'm sure children love being appreciated. And as R.W. Emerson, whom Dr. Kamran had quoted, mentioned in one of his works, I have yet to come across a single human being on earth who is not superior to me in some respect or the other. This is not a lesser mortal like me speaking, this is R.W. Emerson saying. Luck versus law. The harder I work, the luckier I become. I would translate it into a mathematical formula. Focus plus daily improvement plus time. Focus plus daily improvement plus time is equal to a genius. Give yourself the focus. Give yourself the time and application. And all of you, every single person in this audience and everywhere, has the potential of being a genius. Like being a winner is a habit, becoming a loser is also a habit. Getting up late, being impunctual, being internally indisciplined, lacking focus, and then repetition becomes internalization, and that internalization becomes habit. And therefore, if I have to write a compendium of the winners, I will come to CMS. I will be with Mrs. Kamran. I will sit at the feet of Anita ma'am. I'll sit with the wonderful faculty, professors, learned people from Bangladesh and Johns Hopkins University and write the winner's handbook. But if I have to write the loser's handbook, no complaints, I will go to the Dasna jail, the Tihar jail and the Lucknow Central jail and see what horribly went wrong with the people and the inmates of the jail. What went wrong with them? And I'll compile. God distributes your pack of cards to you. But what you do and how you play with those cards is your discretion, and you can make the best of an otherwise grim situation. You can always be a winner. And we will see how. Innovate wherever you are. As the Japanese management says, Kaizen and Kaikaku, constant improvement, constant innovation. There's always a best way of doing everything, even if it is to boil milk or make a simple cup of tea. There is always a best way of doing everything. Then again, we talked of EQ. Dr. Kamran had mentioned that to be successful, it is not good to be just a learned person, but to a person who is a good teams player. Because 1 + 1 does not add up to 2. 1 + 1 would add up to 11 or 111 if you are a good teams person. Address people by name, understand, be a good listener, and then you will be successful. We have shown vicious people, very intelligent, but people who have brought ruin to the family, village, country, and their organizations. You have heard of stainless steel, but what about stainless character? There are those who go high in life at the cost of morality and step onto the shoes, step onto the chests of their fellow men, robbing others of their rights. Good leaders are good readers. 5 years from now, where you will be, 5 years from now, where I will be, would be determined by 2 factors. The company that I keep. If I'm in the company of Anita ma'am, if I'm in the company of Dr. Jagdish Gandhi, if I'm in the company of distinguished people like all of you in this audience, you can safely say that I have a bright future. If the books that I am reading are Shakespeare, if the books that I read are those of Stephen Hawking, The Brief History of Time, the books that I read are Paradise Lost of John Milton, you can say that I have a bright future. But if the books that I am reading are Dil Jale Ki Ah, Kabristan Ka Chaukidar, you can well realize what my future will be like. If I am mixing around with all the pickpockets and India's most wanted, you can well understand what my future will be like. The books that I read are an extension of my personality. The company that I keep are an extension of my personality. You see my company and you can tell me what I am and what my future will be like. Madam Kamran had also mentioned to be a lifelong learner. Knowledge is instant global advantage. And the art of self-mastery would be to be a lifelong learner. I got my master's degree in 72 and the PhD degree in 1990. But even today, the waste management people will take some money for me to remove that degree from my house because it is totally irrelevant in 10 years' time, especially if it's a degree in science. Constant upgradation of your skills, constant upgradation of your knowledge. We have very illustrious scientists sitting in this audience. They will tell you that anything that is pertinent today becomes irrelevant and museum specimen things in 5 years. And therefore, if you are the best in your field, if you are a constant and a lifelong learner, you will lead by personal example. If you are a professor and up to date, your contributions are the best international journals, you are iconic. But if I live in the past, I only live in the past that I got my diploma in 72 and PhD in 90, and I wrote a paper 20 years ago. I'm afraid I'm becoming a dinosaur and a museum specimen. And very soon, if I don't keep myself there, my colleagues will keep me in the museum. Ki, sir, you have outlived your life. Now it is here that you stay and give your blessings from a remote control. Don't waste our time by coming and ranting on things that are of historical importance only. Excellence comes by repetitive action and constant impersonal improvement. By writing journals of what went wrong and how to improve, being with people who are high achievers. Thinking, getting good thoughts is the first stepping stone to glory. Then is planning about them, and then is acting upon them. Not daydreaming. To think and do nothing about is daydreaming. Every 15 days we need to evaluate ourselves. What are my interpersonal, especially the teachers? What are my interpersonal skills? Am I loud? Am I abrasive? Am I indifferent? Am I self-centered? These are things that seep into our personality very inadvertently. We're not even aware, but these infections have a grip on our personality. It is time every 15 days to see, are we harsh? Are we loud? Are we unfair? Are we learning enough? Are we compassionate enough? There are those who make excuses, and there are those who make history. All of you have the ingredients to make and create history and bring a name for yourself, for your country, and for the discipline that you are pursuing. But it is easier said than done. That calls for a degree of discipline and sacrifice. Pain, sacrifice, and effort are going to decide what kind of a leader, student, or a professor you are and what you are likely to be. Pain, there are no shortcuts. I would give you the 4 shortcuts to self-sabotage, which today's generation is afflicted with. Addiction to these distractions is the death of creativity. A peaceful mind is the source of all inspiration and the brightest of ideas. You must have heard how the benzene formula came out. It was because of an inspiration. There are so many things that have come out of inspiration. A single newspaper today has more information that a man had 100 years ago. We can go on endlessly seeing television. We can go on seeing endlessly pages after pages. 63,000 words are there trying to grab our attention. Television, my dear students, we spend more time on television than we do in our playfields and in our libraries. And in the course of television viewing, we see in 4 years that we are in school, 8,000 murders, 16,000 rapes, and other kind of criminal and hedonistic things. Whether we may like it or we may not like it, it has an impact on our personality. And people say, my education begins the moment I switch off the television. My education begins the moment I switch off my television. And it has been said that the parents of high achievers convert their homes into hermitages, gurukuls. When the children are in the formative years, the house gets converted into a hermitage. How? The cable connection is switched off. Successful people have libraries. Others have video games and flat screen televisions. Parents who want to compensate their children for the time that they have not invested in them, they give them expensive gifts like smartphones, video consoles, and expensive gadgets and expensive. We have students from Asian giants like Malaysia, from Indonesia, They have their universities top 100. We do not have a top 100 university in India. They have their universities which are one of the best in the world because they have invested in learning. Parents in India want to reward the child, they give him a smartphone. They give him a game console. Parents in Malaysia and Singapore, they take their children to museums, to libraries, to science parks, so that every vacation is an investment in knowledge. Be so good that you become indispensable wherever you are. There are ingredients of high achievers. They live below their means. They deliver more than what they are paid for. They are ahead of their times. And I dare say what is not written, it is for you to understand, it is very cruel on youngsters. They eat below their appetite. That is also a hallmark of doing self-service. When Fortune 500 asked the CEOs, which is the quality that you would like of the managers that you are going to recruit, they did not say Harvard, Stanford, they did not say IITs, they said men and women of integrity. And they were not preachers. They were CEOs of Fortune 500 companies. And they said integrity. Integrity does not mean financial integrity alone. Integrity would mean personal integrity. Integrity would mean honesty in the office work. Being true to your spouse, true to your family, true to your country. And the 5 ingredients: professional competence. If I am a soldier, I'm a police, I should be able to know the law better than my legal advisor. I should be able to strip and assemble my AK-47 better than a GI. I should be able to attack better than a young sub-inspector. Unbiased contact. I belong to everyone and everyone belongs to me. Action flexibility, because there are no cut and dried solutions. Every situation is different, every day is different. I have a roadmap, but that roadmap can have surprises, bumps and rides, and I should be able to address those. And last but not the least, unimpeachable integrity, integrity and integrity. Now this slide, I did not know that to have the servant's heart, I am a leader, and the smallest of ingredient, if I may have 5 rupees more, if I may have a slight higher status, I have a king-size ego. What makes the difference between success and failure is to have a servant's heart. That you have the capacity and the will to keep the agenda of others before your agenda. You have the capacity, the will and the inclination to be the servant of all the men that you command. The safety, honor and welfare of my country come first, always and every time. The safety, honor and welfare of the men whom I command come next. My personal safety, honor and welfare come last, always and every time. Who can be a better example of this than Dr. Jagdish Gandhi ji? I have seen him removing and cleaning up the dining tables. He doesn't have to do it. But it is by example that you are lighthouse, that in spite of being the head, you continue to be the head boy and have a servant's heart, to be the first servant of this great organization. This is not a chaplain who is writing, this is not a religious teacher. It is Field Marshal Montgomery who's saying, it is not the mightiest or the strongest team, but the one who has the spiritual content in it. And that spiritual content will decide whether you will be the victor or you will be the vanquished. The Sanskrit and the Vedantic texts say, Tattvam Asi, thou art that. The Holy Bible say, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all things shall be added unto you. Seek ye first the kingdom of God. First dedicate yourself to God and his message, then everything in the world will follow you. We seem to have gone horribly wrong. We have put the cart before the horse. We go to the world. Put God relegated that when I retire, when I'm about to die, I'll take the name of God. Then everything goes haywire. Seek ye first the kingdom. First invest in God. First invest in Allah. And see, the world will follow you. Dr. Jagdish Gandhi had very wisely mentioned, all religions are the same. The Holy Quran, Alhamdulillah, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Rabbul Alameen, the word mentioned is Alameen, not Muslimin. He is the Almighty, belongs to everyone. It is my ignorance that makes me feel that there is compartmentalization amongst human beings. There is no compartmentalization. With these words, I congratulate Dr. Jagdish Gandhi, all the participants, all the distinguished visitors who have come from abroad. May God bless your path. Let there be thesis and antithesis, and from that, let there be synthesis. This is going to be a great event, a mega event, exchange of ideas, and from that will emerge the roadmap for the future. May God bless your path. Thank you very much for your time.
Sir, we will just trouble you for a minute. Please, you are wanted up here on the stage. And I am mesmerized. What do you say? Don't have words. So what does it call for? So please, a little token of our appreciation, like in, ma'am, please. And just like the elder of the family, he has given this advice not only to the students, but also to the teachers and parents. And a very wonderful message of upgrading ourselves every week, about the company which we keep, about the peaceful mind, which is the source of all strength. Thank you so much, sir. A wonderful message for me also. Of course, I know that I have to upgrade myself along with my students. Thank you, sir.